a lot
It's
of
a very
people,
heavy one.
a lot of
Yeah.
It's
people
a heavier
lose.
thing than any of
Yeah.
the other stuff I think that we've talked about.
A lot of
It's
people
serious.
say that they plagiarized by using these lines. First, I'm going to start off hard. It's silly.
Yeah, like I like when I saw this, I was like, this is so fucking stupid.
It's a pretty silly accusation.
Yeah.
The the entire premise is this character says lines that are in this book, and there's no reason for it. So, and that's it. And the entire premise is that direct quotes or quotes from anything amounts to plagiarism, and that's not the case. We
Yeah.
wouldn't
No.
have pop culture if that was the case.
Yeah.
Like, uh, you could look towards any movie. There's so many comedy movies that just wouldn't work if they couldn't make jokes. Referencing Spaceballs could not be a thing if that was the case.
Yeah. No. Like
Even if they
or like
directly take text from something else, it has to be transformative in some way or whatever. And these lines of dialogue are meant to hint towards something. That's the kind of
yeah.
point. And even the lines of dialogue that are chosen are really specific and point towards details within the story that get
Yeah.
a little overlooked.
Yeah. I mean, like, okay. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to add another example, like, because you mentioned Spaceballs. Like, I think a better comparison would be the movie Airplane, because or like not air, not is it Airplane? I don't remember, but like that was based.
Yeah.
That was like based on like another movie.
Airport. It was
Yeah.
called Airport. Yeah.
Yeah. It was based on another movie, and like that, like in Airplane, they literally took like direct lines of dialogue from the original and just recontextualized them to make it funny.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Even
So
on
like,
top of that, like you kind of look here, and the way they've highlighted this, it's like, oh, uh, a few sentences here, this sentence, and then this line.
like
And
part
that,
of yeah. Like
how
part
is
of
that
the line.
plagiarizing a book? You're not recopying the entire book. No, you're making a reference to it.
Yeah, like it would be plagiarism if like the entire like Factory Hotel segment was like the first chapter of this book, but like just like word for word,
Yeah.
like with like a
Yeah.
line or two altered. Like
It's also worth noting, like this story got a lot of attention. This was definitely one of the biggest controversies. It was reported on by
Yeah.
Kotaku, and for the record, at least to my knowledge, Haruki Murakami has never approached or attempted to sue or accuse anybody of anything pertaining to plagiarism.
Nope.
And yes, in this game, I mean, look, I know this menu was added in the patch, but they have a menu where they do provide credit. They mention that they do take some lines of dialogue or direct quotes. So this is credited. They didn't really try to pass this off as their own writing. You might be able to make that case with like the 1.0 or whatever, because that menu wasn't there. But even then, as we've said, lots of films, books, etc., quote other works without providing a source. You are not obligated to provide a source if you're not going to get immediately sued just because you didn't do that. There is some degree of liberty that is granted,
Right.
And this is the only other thing I'm going to say is that when you see this quote, it looks really bad. You see the book, it doesn't look good. This is not a recurring thing throughout the game. There are maybe only 2 sections in the whole game that take from Murakami's works and whatnot. That's it. If this was a recurring thing, I would probably feel differently, because I would think it was suspect to use so much of other people's work. But it's not what happens in this game.
Yeah, and then here's even this thing where the Murakami page linked to Yik back when the game was still in development. It's like, it's it's a little ridiculous. Like, he's aware of the game. He could pursue legal action for using those things if that was the case. If that was plagiarism, he's not just not aware of it. His entire team knows about it. So where's the issue? Like, if this is even at its worst, this is a purely legal issue. And if they were getting sued or whatever, that's on them. They have to deal with that. It's not something that's happening on us. Right. like we don't
It's
have
definitely
to
not happening.
we don't have to hold the standard up for them.
Yeah. It's like even still like okay. Here's the thing that bugs me about that is like people like keep bringing this up like, oh yeah, like this plagiarism. It's like, dude, if this was like actual plagiarism, do you know like if this were like actual case of plagiarism, not only would there be a lawsuit, but every fucking gaming website in the entire like goddamn internet sphere would be perpetuating the, hey, you remember Y2K, that bad game or whatever? Look, they're being sued for like stealing lines of dialogue and plagiarizing the game. But that's not happening because there is no lawsuit and none of that is happening at all.
You know, if this was, plagiarism, I wouldn't be able to pull up the Nintendo Switch page to buy the game.
Yeah.
That's it at the end of the day.
Yeah.